I was starting to think that we'd never get here, but the temperatures have finally become what we'd expect for this time of year. The last of the snow has melted, and we're seeing the mercury rise to temperatures close to 30 degrees Celsius. A lot of the local trails were still seeing lots of pretty wet and muddy sections over the last few weeks, making them unrideable. Not that you can't ride muddy trails, but the Trail Association here in Saskatoon has asked people to avoid riding these sections, because it really tears them up and then requires a lot of extra maintenance. Now I know that places like the Pacific Northwest, riding wet trails is everyday life, but here, I think the type of dirt and soil we have isn't as forgiving to water damage. So with that being said, I wanted to head out to the trails by my house and see if I could find any dry ones to ride. With the high temperatures we've been having, I had high hopes, and as much as I like riding with my two kids, I decided to leave them at home tonight. They weren't too happy about that, but I wanted to ride hard enough that I could get a good workout in, and when I ride with them, that typically doesn't happen. I promised them we'd go out for a rip together on the weekend. The vast majority of single track in Saskatoon is along the South Saskatchewan riverbank. The South Saskatchewan originates from glacier flow, winter snowpack, and rainfall in the Rocky Mountains near the BC and Montana border. The river runs right down the middle of Saskatoon and gives us prairie folk a great location for some trails, where otherwise there would be very few options. Sure, they're not going to compare to the stuff you're going to get in Alberta and BC, but for being slap dab in the middle, the flattest land in the country, we're doing pretty good. Once I got deeper into the trees, I was pretty surprised at how dry things were looking. I dropped into a trail called Corkscrew, which only last week got pretty muddy just 100 feet in, but today it was nice and dry. Things were looking up. Because there isn't a lot of elevation here, most of the single track is comprised of a lot of up and down, rolly trails. And if that doesn't make it difficult enough, there are really tight turns everywhere that lead into steep uphills. When I said I wanted to get a good workout tonight, it's trails like these that really get your heart pumping, and believe me, mine was. As I made my way through Corkscrew, my good luck came to an end as I started coming up on muddy patches. A little muddy here. Too muddy. Gotta get out of here. Unfortunately, I had to hike around a big portion of muddy trails until I got back to a dry spot. I didn't want to risk going deeper into the trails and took my first opportunity to get out. Oh shit. Damn. Alright, let's get out of here. So it's a really beautiful night here on the Canadian prairies here in Saskatoon. It is really calm, not a lot of wind. It's nice and warm. It's about 20 degrees, 21 degrees Celsius right now. And that's pretty sweet for this time of year. We had a pretty crappy spring this year. It was pretty cold. It was really cold into April, which is not usual for here. I know it is cold here in the winter, but usually by April things are shaping up. But this year was a little bit of a different story, so it's nice to actually get some nice weather, get out and ride. It's too bad about COVID-19 right now. We can't really go out. You can go out, but you got to still social distance, and there's a lot of people out, so it makes it a little hard when you're on some of the main roads and trails to keep out of the way of people. But once you get into this single track trail here, it's pretty dead. There's a few hikers out here and a few bikers, but really not a lot, so it's a lot easier. You don't really see anyone. But once you hit those main trails and the pathways, it gets pretty bad, and there's a lot of people that aren't adhering to the rules of social distancing, which is a little bit unfortunate. I do my best. I give about 20 feet to people. If we're on the path, I'll veer off into the grass, give them about 20 feet and go around them. And even when I'm out with my kids, we do the same thing. They're really good about it. I mean, 6 years old and 9-year-old, and they are really aware of everything around them, and they just, as soon as they see people, they veer off to the side and give them a lot of room. So I'm really proud of that. They did a really good job of that. So yeah, I came out alone today. Like I said, wanted to come out at some of this single track, which is beyond the capabilities of my kids. So I wanted to come out, check it out, and try and find maybe a few dry ones that maybe they could hit. Maybe this weekend we're going to come out and get them out on their new bikes. So yeah, looking forward to that. I didn't want to be done for the night, and there were still lots of dry trails that I knew about, so I decided to get in a few more laps before heading back home. It would give me a chance to break in the new bike. This was one of the first real rides I've had on my new Giant Rain, Advance Pro 1, and I was still getting the feel for it. This is the first 29er I've ridden, so that has taken a bit of getting used to. I can say that it feels great, and I think I've settled in pretty well. I'm really looking forward to spending the summer with the bike, and I'm anticipating the end of this whole COVID-19 situation, so I can get it out to the mountains to really put it to the test. Hey, how you guys doing? Not bad. I could see that I was running out of sunlight and still had to ride home, so it seemed like a good time to call it a night.
Hey.
I think tonight's ride was successful, and based on what I saw, I think these local Saskatoon trails will be fully rideable in no time. The summers are short here in the Canadian prairies, and I'm not about to waste any time that could be spent on the bike. If you'd like to help this channel out, please hit that subscribe button and like this video. That would be much appreciated. Until next time, thanks for watching, stay safe, and take it easy.